I'm Paul Perkins with the check of your ag weather. As the cold front tracks to the southeast, north wind gusts to 35 and the high fire threat this afternoon slowly subside this evening after highs this afternoon from the mid-70s to the 80s. Lows tonight dip into the upper 30s to the mid-40s. High pressure moves overhead tomorrow and slightly cooler than seasonal highs around 70. Southerly winds on the backside of high pressure sliding east boost our highs into the 80s Wednesday. Elevated to near critical fire weather conditions return for Wednesday through Sunday with some stronger winds. Another cold front drops our highs into the mid-70s to the low 80s for Thursday and Friday. Saturday looks to be our warmest day of the next week when highs top out in the 80s. Highs on Sunday drop to around 80. Dry weather is likely to continue through the middle of next month, and rain chances by then still look iffy. In the long-term forecast, chances remain very high for warmer than normal temperatures this weekend through October 13th in Nebraska, Kansas, and the western two-thirds of the U.S. Below normal rainfall also very likely for Nebraska and Kansas, along with the central and western U.S. this weekend through October 13th. It looks to be especially dry this weekend through early next week. Key weather factors impacting the markets include recent heavy rain in parts of the Corn Belt and southeast U.S. from Helene, possibly another tropical storm in the Gulf of Mexico, and central Brazil's wet season starting with only light rain. As cool air continues to settle across the northwest, frost and freezes may occur tomorrow morning from eastern Washington into western Montana. Much of the rest of the U.S. remains quite warm, with temperatures regularly topping 90 in the south central U.S. and reaching 110 or higher later in the week across the desert southwest. Remnant tropical moisture exits the mid-Atlantic states by the middle of the week. In areas surrounding the Ohio River, heavy rain from the remnants of Helene late last week and weekend eased the drought and improved the water levels on the Mississippi River. Hurricane Helene caused horrific flooding in parts of the southeast late last week, including some damage to cotton in Georgia and some corn and soybeans in the Carolinas. The worst of it occurred in the southern Appalachians, where whole towns were washed away by the flooding. Precipitation is scarce across the remainder of the U.S., although rainy weather continues across the Florida Peninsula. Forecasters are once again watching the western Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico for possible development of a tropical cyclone. The storm may stick around this weekend or even next week. Forecast models, though, vary greatly on the exact track. Central Brazil's wet season off to a slow start with very spotty rain this past weekend, a trend that continues for the next week. The late start of rain in central Brazil causing a slow start for soybean planting, which likely causes a more significant impact for second crop corn and cotton for early next year. Central Brazil may have a better chance of rain later next week. Southern Brazil, that's had good rainfall over recent weeks, expects more rain this week. Argentina was again dry this past weekend, which continues to significantly delay the corn planting for western areas and some to abandon winter wheat due to poor conditions and limited or no rainfall. Far southern and eastern Argentina is better, but most areas are still dry. Spotty rain moves through Argentina today and tomorrow before a more promising chance this upcoming weekend into early next week. More rain, though, is needed soon in Argentina to alleviate significant late plantings and increase the soil moisture for a limited crop. With the check of your ag weather, I'm Paul Perkins.